say taxes, you save a lot of money.
Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is December 26th, 2020, the last show of the year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Ivan's on the lam in Latin America. You're hiding out.
For what?
From the bears that are mad at you because you just keep winning. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, we had a good Christmas. We were here in Vegas with my girlfriend, so it was nice. What about you?
A lot of things can happen in Vegas.
You go to a Chinese restaurant on Christmas?
No, nothing's open. We just watch more Netflix. It's just kind of like the Groundhog Day for us. Played golf with Max today, and we're doing this early on a Saturday today.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, let's share my screen real quick. All right. Let's go back to one of the indices. So the Qs, the S&P 500 still consolidating above the rising 20, 50, 200-day moving averages. Constructively, the small caps continue to make new all-time highs. There's definitely some hints of froth right now in the market. I mean, all the SPACs are just going up like crazy. Even if we don't know with which company they're going to merge, they just, by definition, they just go 20, 30, 50%.
Yeah, there was 8 billion of new offerings last week. So as I've been saying, it'll take care of itself. People will just keep, Yeah,
eventually the supply will catch up with the demand.
The only thing that will stop it right now is
everything out. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple more. There are a couple more Nicolas out there, maybe. But I think it'll be somewhere in the first quarter where the supply just overwhelms people. Because it's unstoppable right now, other than supply.
Yeah, pretty much anything clean tech continues to be super hot, and this is why these are the new IPOs and the new SPACs are in that area.
Give a couple examples. QS was like a monster.
Exactly, QS, one of the hottest one. I mean, even Apple kind of announced, or it's a rumor that they might be building their own electric vehicle. I think they had their own car projects a few years ago. They decided to scrap it.
Yeah.
And a bunch of guys from Apple that were working on that project actually left and started their own car companies. For example, the guys that founded Winter Private Acquisition will be the company that will merge with the guys that started a leader sensors company, former Apple guys. So all the leader sensors company just went up like 50, 60% last week. We have VLDR, IPV, I just mentioned. All of them just skyrocketed again on the news that Apple might be entering that business and that they might outsource a lot of the technology. So super hot, fuel cells super hot. Anything solar has been trying to break out. Obviously, many of those stocks might be a little bit extended. Not for solar. For solar is still looking at the beginning stages of a potentially new trend. But
wow. I mean, wow. And all I can say is, maybe that Apple news, obviously, listen, Tesla can't go at this alone. They're just, the market cap's attracting, maybe sucking Apple into this business finally. You can't just, it's really fascinating. I mean, no one, like Tesla's own success is breeding its own competition. But at their market cap, with their top 10 company in the world, top 6 company in the world. So it they're obviously expanding the market. So it's probably it's a hot potato kind of thing in the space. It's almost not worth talking about anything else because the froth is the froth. And what's so interesting, Ivan, is there's so many people like doing this full time now. So it's like this has turned into a game of people, people have been home for 9 months. So it's kind of like the equivalent of 5 years, what it would take someone part-time to learn the market, they've learned in 9 months.
Yep.
And they've learned in a bull market, but they've seen IPOs, they've seen SPACs, they've seen a crash, they've seen, kind of everything.
We haven't seen such interest in the stock market since the late 90s, when almost everyone was participating. But now it's even bigger because it's global. It's not just the US, it's all around the world, people that are starting to buy stock, trade.
It's also 30% of the calls I get and emails are from women now. So it used to be 5%. So you also have women.
Yeah, a lot of them definitely entering the market.
And they're good at it because they're not as emotional with respect to the money part. They just have a longer term time horizon. They're not thinking about alpha or beating, they're just about, can I learn? And they're not ashamed to ask a million questions. So so you have those huge differences. So I can't tell. I mean, I put something out. I put something out today about this is kind of a sentiment thing. I asked on Twitter today what people's favorite idea was. I got 180 answers so far. Not one. Usually on Twitter it's like 50% crash. I didn't get one bearish idea out of 180.
Huh.
And that's just, so no one is even thinking, not one person on my stream, and that's generally not how it works. Not one person on my stream is even thinking that something bad could happen next year. So pretty interesting sentiment from where we were.
Which areas do you think will be popular next year? Or at least the first 3 to 6 months?
Well, I think gaming, everything's a game. So I think with Roblox coming out, I think you're seeing Activision break out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if New York, obviously you pulled up DraftKings before, but, I think these companies are priced for perfection. So it depends how long's COVID.
Smaller companies in the space that are starting to look interesting. So esports, entertainment, gamble.
Zynga's breaking out.
Zynga, another one that I like. It's kind of in the software.
Zynga's probably my favorite setup.
Yeah, okay.
But Activision really looked good breaking out. There's some enterprise software stocks that look pretty good. Anaplan, PLAN looked like it was breaking out. But again, it's just like trying to find tighter bases because it's just everything seems to be a little bit frothy. So how are you positioned for this week? I mean, it's generally a good week, Christmas to New Year's.
So, last week, despite all the frothiness, we also saw quite a few technical reversals. So I noticed that in the past couple of weeks, people are kind of taking profits more quickly, and many of those breakouts are kind of pulling back the same day. So I'm a little bit more cautious and try to take profits more often. I don't think that frothiness is really a reason to be short, because it might be resolved in another sector rotation, and there is a chance that home builders shine again. They've been kind of consolidating for the past 2 to 3 months as interest rates started to go up, but the mortgage rates continue to make new
all-time low in the 30-year. Yeah.
So if you pull up the home builders ETF XHB, you can see that it is setting up for a potential breakout here, and it is definitely an area that I want to be.
That's a good idea. I mean, with rate 30-year mortgages at lows, even I said, get the hell out and buy a house. Now, I didn't really mean it like that. You can't go to Manhattan and buy a house. I mean, you can if you can, but for people that I think that have the that can move, whether it's to Phoenix, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Florida, Colorado, Nevada, and you can go for, and you know, even if you know, trade up into a bigger home, if you can work remotely, and you know, go do some exploring into a state with lower taxes. I mean, that's what America is, you know. You can't just, you have that freedom to move. And if you can go buy your dream house in Nevada or Texas with interest rates at 2%, I just, I mean, life is long. Go, the spirit of adventure. So that's what I mean when I say, you know, go buy a home. And I think a lot of people will still do that with Zoom and with Slack and with uh, the ability to, you know, have this mobility. So the only thing that the only thing that was interesting is the money continues to come out of FANGs, but it's not coming out of the market. So you saw Alibaba imploded.
Yeah, but that's a separate reason, really.
Yeah, it's a separate reason, but you know, that looked unbeatable a month ago.
Yeah.
And now it's back, you know, below its 200-day moving average, relative strength of 8. So that is on my 8 to 80 list, and that's something that I'm watching to add.
Yeah.
But only Apple to me looks really strong in the FANGs.
Well, they mentioned the magic word or phrase, electric vehicles. I'm kind of surprised Amazon hasn't, because in a few years from now, probably everything will be electric vehicles and autonomously.
Well, they'll be doing that around, you know, question is, do they outsource it? They'll be doing that around logistics and shipping. I don't know. I think from their experience with the phone, I don't think people trust them around a car. And Tesla's such a big head start. So I think what they learned with Apple is, you know, stay out of it. What's great for us is the concept cars, you know, once enough people work on this, it won't just, the idea of a car will be a lot different when enough great companies start working on this. So we could get some leaps forward in transportation. So that's kind of what bull markets are and booms are good for. You know, a lot of money gets spent wastefully, but a lot of big ideas start happening.
Yeah, and maybe something similar in biotech. Exactly, you're right. Because this year the world spent tens of billions of dollars into biotech, and
kids want to be scientists, and kids want to go into healthcare, and they stop going into law, they stop going into accounting, and software is less of an accounting based, you know, it's more of a cash based system. The other thing that was interesting is, you know, it's still, I kind of think gold's going to have a big, what's that one? Fate Therapeutics, man. So go through some of the ones you're following. So this is, I've never even heard of that.
It's just a new technology.
Cancer. Yeah, I got to put together a list. My problem is, it's just like,
yeah,
they all lose so much money. You know, it's like you might as well trade crypto because you're just betting on these things just burn. They're losing $3 a share. Like, so it's like you might as well just trade.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of risk on for these companies are so far away from making money, and their stocks are tripling. So it's like, who's the buyer? Yeah, like a CRISPR, which I own, is like going to lose $5 a share. So for someone to try and like value something that's burning that much cash, whew, again, I think that's more than the SPACs, because, well, forgetting the EV part of the SPACs, but the biotech and the crypto moves are staggering. You know, Bitcoin 26,000 this weekend.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think people are being a little bit too careless, but hey, you know, you got a bull trend, so let people do it. Anything's with Marathon Patent Group, Jesus.
These are like crypto related. That's why I'm kind of pulling them out. There are other ways to play crypto if you know.
Yeah. Well, I think, listen, I've been bullish on Bitcoin here for years, so you know, I'm just sticking with the basics. But if we look at the Qs and we look at the S&P and the indexes, I guess you still got clear clear sailing into the new year. You're not, are you looking to short anything?
No, not right now. I mean, definitely there's some stocks that are kind of look interesting on the short side, but that's not where my attention is as of right now. Like I rather keep a larger cash position than be short in this market, just because I think there is such a strong underlying demand that it's almost not worth my hassle at this point. Because I have to risk $1 to make $1 in most short ideas, so it's just not worth my time.
Yeah, I've learned those lessons over the years. In a bull market, best to just don't make it worse, unless you're some kind of, you wired a little bit differently. I just think standing aside is okay. If you don't understand it on the upside, it's okay, but don't compound it with fancy short sales. All right, is this our last show of the year?
I think so. I think the next one will be next year. So.
Any kind of what's plans for New Year's?
I don't have any plans yet, so I'll be in San Diego, though. We'll see.
All right. Well, you had a good year, I can tell. What do you think happens next year?
I have no idea. I think there is a good chance we see inflation entering various parts of our lives. Not only the stock market, and we'll see more sector rotations. That for sure.
Yeah, inflation expectations are at their highest level in a couple of years. So, people are starting to think about that. They're showing up obviously in asset prices. I mean, obviously Bitcoin, you can look at gold. I mean,
let's go up gold real quick and finish with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, setting up silver as well is kind of looking okay.
But boring. Young people, I mean, these are just too boring for people when they're making 20, 30% in a day. So, I would say just for people doing that, just remember that's just not normal. Everybody have a great New Year's, and we'll check in next week.
You too, Howard.